Paula from PSE Creations. Welcome to my channel if you are new, and welcome back if you're returning. Today's video is a flip through of a little golden book journal that I just finished. This is the Walt Disney Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. This copy is from 1979, and we're going to do a flip through. I did do two process videos, excuse me, and those will be linked in the description box. The first video was just deconstructing the little golden book, how I do it. And then the second one was showing the bonus pages. So I add what I call bonus pages, keep the story in order, and then just add bonus pages. So anyways, check those videos out if you're interested in seeing how I really, the process that I follow to make my little golden books, junk journals, is really like the base process. So this journal, I did want to mention that I will have available in my on my website and in my Whatnot marketplace. The links for both will be below. And this will be a bundle deal. So with this junk journal, you will also get this adorable beadable pin that I made of Snow White. So it's a pin that you can use to journal. Yes, cute. And it will come with another refill as well. So it will be a bundle deal, so you'll get everything in one. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So I do keep the original spine when I make my little golden book, so it remains two signatures. Again, the original spine. I do, there's a little bit of wear, right? This is the 1979 book, so there is a little bit of wear on the cover. However, nothing that will lift. I did make sure that I added something to hopefully help protect it from lifting or being damaged in any other way. I did add book corners because the front corners were they're a little rough. They're a little rough. The back were fine, which is very interesting to me, but the front, not so much. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started on this flip through. Hopefully I wasn't too close to the camera there. All right. The tie is a removable tie. It's a sheer sari tie. I liked this deep blue color, or it's a lot like deep blue. I don't know what it is. It's not sky blue. Anyways, I like this blue. I thought it went well. And that's why I picked it. All right, as I mentioned, the story is in order. You can still read it. And I always start... Let me talk about the front of the inside covers of the journal. The insides were in great condition, which most of the ones I find of my little golden books are. So I'm very thrilled about that. So I don't ever cover them. I would assume that if they were in bad condition, maybe I would cover them, but I don't, because the ones that I find seem to be fine. There is some vintage fabric on the spine. And the first page, I usually always try to keep as the first page of the actual book. And then we move on. So again, 1979. There we go. 47th printing, 1979. So as everybody, I think, maybe is aware, if you've been on my channel before and seen my videos, I love using these junk mailer envelopes, and I add at least one or two little pockets. I have my side loading ones, and then I have my top loading pockets. So here is a side loading pocket. I did acquire, as in I purchased, some Snow White stamps. They're more cartoonish, but I think that that's okay because there's a combination of Snow White throughout the year in here, because I also had another book that I acquired as well, and a Snow White and Seven Dwarfs book, and I did fussy cutting of those images, and those are part of this book as well as the actual excuse me, little golden book. All that being said, I made this journaling card. So this is a Snow White that I stamped, and then I colored in with my colored pencils, sewed all the way around. Food container as the journaling card base. Excuse me. We have vintage papers in here, music. We have a ledger. Here is some vintage fabric that I made into a ruffle. And then there's just a little bulb pin here with a little key. I thought that was cute. I added it. Coffee dyed paper. The story continues. The first page of the actual story. Once upon a time, long, long ago. This is colored paper. This is yellow. Colored copy paper. Let me rephrase that. This is from a dictionary. I think this is a dictionary. I'm pretty sure this is a dictionary. Yeah, I think this is a dictionary. Like a kid's dictionary, possibly. Anyhow, this was fussy cut from the other book that I mentioned that I got my hands on. And this is Sneezy, I believe. Maybe it's Sleepy because he has a pillow. No, it's Sleepy. Jeez Louise. Okay. Take a step back, Paula. It's Sleepy because this came from the same page. I just cut it out, added it to some cardstock, did a little bit of a zigzag stitch there, and just added it to the page. Just as a, I think it goes well. And then on this other side, I just added a little bit of handmade paper, which I did not hand make. These were part of like the paper packs that you can get from the Dollar Tree at one point in time. And again, here is another. This was a stamped one that I colored with my colored pencils. I believe that's Sleepy as well, but it's a different version of Sleepy. This is some cardstock that I had left over. It's one of my bonus pages here that I made into a pocket. So I had leftover cardstock, so I just made it into a journaling card. This was a stamp from the stamp set that I have, Fairest of them all. And I just added it to some coffee dyed paper, sewed around, added a little bit of a punch design here on the corner. It's only 2 corners that have it. And then I have a journaling card here. Coffee dyed paper with some... It's a stamped apple that's part of that stamp set that I colored in with my colored pencils. So this here, let me just add a little context for you. So when I was cutting things up and measuring, I accidentally ripped the page a little bit here, and I did not like how the ripped look. It wasn't bad. It wasn't going to do anything to the page, but I didn't like how it looks. So I just added a little bit of washi tape there. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. All right, this is just lined paper, avocado dyed, and I just did a whale tail tab punch here. Here's another apple, and this is another colored copy paper. These colored copy papers, I showed them in one of my hauls. I got it at my craft reuse store. They had a bunch of different colors, and some of them are water stained, and I think I have a blue water stained one in here, but the water staining gives it just a little bit of a design. I don't think, again, we recycle and repurpose and reuse with junk journaling, so it works out. Vintage dictionary page with some vintage lace sewn on. A paper doily. Here is that other page that I was mentioning. This one has water. Like you can see that there was a little bit of water damage here, but it's like a border. It looks like a border on it. You probably can't. You might be able to see it. I don't know. It's really hard on the camera to see it. But anyhow, this is a little bird stamp from the stamp set. And we move on to the middle of the first signature. And this is avocado dyed vintage music sheets. I used some vintage lace, made 2 pockets here. And these are pages from that other Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs books that I got. So images from there. I made into journaling cards on manila folder. And this one as well. This is the tag, sorry. Or it has a shape of a tag. It can be whatever you want it to be, but it has a shape of a tag. This is a journaling card, sewn all the way around. There's plenty of room in this journal, in my opinion, to still be creative yourself. Obviously, I leave lots of room, but I do incorporate some ephemera and styling of the journal myself as well. So just the other side of that blue copy paper with some stamps, the paper doily, the other side of the vintage dictionary page. And this again is this is Sneezy. I did a Tim Holtz stencil here I used with some oxide inks. I thought it looked cool. I thought, like, he has a dandelion here and he's sneezing. And I thought, oh, he's sneezing in the dandelion, but I made it purple, kind of like fluttered away, right? It's like fluttering away because of his sneeze. And this is obviously a fussy cut from that other book that I had. And on this side, because this kind of bled through, I didn't necessarily care for how that looked. So I just added a corner. This is a cardstock, and I added it into a corner up tuck with Happy, the Happy Dwarf. And these are all part of the stencil, the stamp kit that I did color in using my colored pencils. And here I just added this jumbo plain card as the queen. I know it's not Alice in Wonderland, the Queen of Hearts, but I thought it went well. She is a nicer looking queen than the queen on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. The story continues. This is my first bonus page. So again, if you go watch that second video that I made that's linked below, it shows what I call my bonus pages. So there's 3 bonus pages in each signature. So the bonus page would only appear on the second half of the signature. So the first half of the signature wouldn't have bonus pages. It's the second half of the signature that will have the bonus pages. Anyhow, this is one of the stamps from the collection, and I did color it in with my colored pencil. I think it's so cute. I think just this cardstock is a very lightweight, single-sided cardstock. It's more like paper, but I got it a paper set at Walmart, and I like the florals and stuff of how it looked. So anyways, but it's perfect for the bonus pages because you don't want something super thick. You could use something super thick, and I'll show you because I did, but you don't really want that. So Fairest of them all stamp, and of course this is a pocket, and in here I have a full page of a vintage ledger for additional writing space. And still plenty of space to decorate here. On this side, plenty of space, right? Coffee dyed paper. Here's the vintage lace again. The dictionary page, children's page. I just did some stamps of diamonds because they were diamond minders. Did you guys know that the dwarfs were diamond minders? And then this is another bonus page. And on this bonus page, this was a thicker cardstock and it was double-sided. The bonus pages are great to use for your single-sided signatures. I will say that, in my opinion. But anyways, I made this into a pocket, and it's a side-loading pocket. And in this, I used, again, another image from that other Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs books that I got my hands on. Backed it on some vintage music, copied around, and this is a food container that I repurposed. So yeah, you have a large journaling card that fits just perfectly right here. And you can absolutely decorate that more. And this is sewn around. Copy dyed paper, and again another image that I fussy cut from the other book. This was from another book as well. What I did was I added photo corners here. They're those clear photo corners. They're these right here. I think you can pick these up at Hobby Lobby. As you can see, they're $1.29. Clear photo corners. And it's perfect because you can remove this if you want to. And it's a page from another book that I had, but it was a smaller one. I just thought it was perfect. I loved both images. And yeah, so, and you can add something else here as long as obviously it's the same size because the photo corners are set in place. So I'm not going to mess with this right now. We're going to move on. I will come back to that. The story continues. This is the third. Yeah, this is the third and last bonus page of the first signature. And it's just the colored copy paper that has been a little bit of, has a little bit of water damage, so it's discolored, but I think it looks great. And we have Dopey there writing around. He's a fussy cut from another book. And it's just an extra page. And then here's a little bit of a stamp. And now we move on to the second signature. You can see a little bit of the fabric here from the that we use on the spine. And the second signature, the story continues. Again, story's all in order. Here's another junk mailer pocket. And these are fussy cuts. The words are fussy cuts from the book, the second book that I got. And these were actually part of the stamp kit along with the diamonds. And then I colored them in with my colored pencil. So I made this one into a tag. I thought it turned out really cute. And then the topper, I do have an eyelet there. And the topper, I used this vintage fabric. So again, food container. I thought it was adorable. Okay, why doesn't it want to go in? Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry. Paper doily, vintage ledger. The story. Here's a ball pen with an apple. So this is a little apple. I don't know if you can see it, if it'll focus on. Okay. This version of the little Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, I love the images. They are just gorgeous. Like this full pager right here, gorgeous. Oh, the stamp set had this apple too that was a little bit scurry looking. So I added that in a few places as well. Here's another fussy cut from the other book on this copy dyed page. Again, tons of space here to do and be creative. Maybe collage a little. Oh, I need to add a little stamp here or something. I just feel like it's so bare. Okay, the dictionary page here, I added just this, I don't know what it is. It's some kind of trim, but it is elasticy. I don't know. I thought it was something different with a different texture. And of course, my little stamped dock that I colored in with my colored pencils. And copy dyed paper. This is I used some vintage book pages and made it into like a little cluster, and then I sewed them together at the top, and then I glued it in and made it a side tuck. But I wanted to make sure that you can actually tuck in and out, right? It wasn't hard. So this is just a cardstock. It's like a handmade paper type of cardstock. It's a little bit glittery. I don't know if you can see the glitteriness of it. These are from those Dollar Tree paper packs. And I just punched the corners, added your wish will soon come true. Jeez. And this is part of the Snow White stamp set that I have as well. And on here, I stamped the little bird friend, and I believe that's Sleepy. And of course, I did color it in with my colored pencil. It was a little weird to color it in with the colored pencil on the book page because it just looks weird to me. But I think it turned out pretty cute. And then the middle of the signature we have here, I used, again, that cardstock and made it into a little pocket on this right here. And this is an image from, oops, sorry, made a tag. And this is an image from one of the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs books that I got my hands on. And this is actually like sandwich paper. I think that's what it's called. It's like that paper that you wrap sandwiches in, the deli paper. There we go. But it's a floral one that I got a while ago. So I thought that was a nice little background. And then I added this image and sewed around. Again, this is a food container that I repurposed. And I only say that because I wanted to, I just want you to understand that it's thick. It's like a cardstock, right? It's like, not cardstock, like chipboard, but not as thick as chipboard. So it's very stable and not flimsy. That's the only reason why I mentioned that. Well, plus I like to share that, you can use that kind of stuff to repurpose. Here's another apple stamp, and this one has a bite in it. Copy dyed paper. This is a dictionary page. I just added this hand made paper. It's like a flip out, and it has, I think this is Grumpy. Oh, you can't even see him. He's hiding. This is Grumpy. And I just added it here as a flip out, and you can actually remove it. And this is just washi tape, so it's not glued down or anything, so you can just lift the washi tape like this, like said, and put it down back again. and you just have, I don't know. I just thought that that was something different. It's not permanent. You can remove it if you don't like how that looks and use this somewhere else. However it is that you want to use it. Oh, they're so happy here. Here is our first bonus page of the second signature. And again, this is a similar single-sided, lightweight cardstock that I have. True beauty is found within. And then I stamped the Snow White from my stamp set. And I did color her in with a colored pencil. And this has, it's an up-tuck pocket. And again, I added another vintage ledger page here for more writing space if you'd like, or you can use this for something else. You're up to your discretion, but it's a nice size pocket that you can use for whatever you would like. This is the other side. Coffee dyed paper. I added a little bit of a ruffle here. This is vintage fabric. I think this is like a vintage curtain. I've used it in a number of books. I'm pretty much running out of it, but I got my hands on it, and then I've used it in a number of books. So this is the lined paper that was avocado dyed. There's a little bit of a pink tint to it. True beauty is found within. It's the stamp. You're the, isn't it the mirror that says you're the fairest of them all? Anyways, that was a stamp from the stamp set, but it just says you're the as the stamp. And then this was an image from one of the other books, the Queen, of course. Added it to this dictionary page, and the dictionary page, the base of it, I added a the white part of a napkin. I decoupaged the white part of a napkin onto it, so that's why it kind of, I don't know if you can really see, it has a little bit of the images from the white part of the napkin as well. Here she is from the storybook. Excuse me. She's taking the apples. Such an evil queen. Here's another bonus page, and again, this is just, I made into a writing page, meaning it's not a pocket. Stamped here, and then I colored with my colored pencils. I had all Seven Dwarfs as part of my stamp set, but I seem to have always gravitated to the same ones in some cases. Here's the ledger again page, the paper doily. This is another one where I use the book corner. This is the first page of that other smaller Disney Snow White book that I got my hands on. If you're good with Roman numerals, what year is that from? So this is the very first page. I loved this image. There was no way that I was going to cut this image up. I also loved this image. So I said, you know what? We'll just keep it here, because I was going to back these, like back it with coffee dyed paper and then sew it so that it can be like a journaling card for you. But then I said, no, I'm just going to leave it like this with my book corners, and you can do what you would like to do with it. Leave it like this or do something different. Your choice. We are rounding the end of the book. The story here continues, and one day a handsome prince came to the forest and saw Snow White. Charmed with her beauty, he kissed her. And that is all she wrote. So I have a funny story about this right here, and I'm going to show you guys. So this is the very last page of the book, which is a bonus page. This is a double-sided cardstock. So it's a little bit thicker, and it is sewn around right here. It is a side tuck pocket, and again, I used an image from one of the other books that I have and made a journaling card. Again, same process. Used some vintage book pages on the back, and yeah, it's a journaling card. It fits perfectly here. Plenty of room. The story that I have, though, is my sewing machine was acting up, and I did not realize it until after I had completed all the sewing, and I didn't want to lose this because I'd worked on it. So as you can see, it bunched up everywhere, but it did it all the way around. And I kind of sort of thought it kind of gave it a design. So I left it. I hope you don't mind it if you end up getting this. But it's like all bunched up, but it's not going to tear apart is what I'm trying to say. It's not going to fall apart on you. I thought it looked, actually, if you look at it, I mean, can you see that? It looks like little, I don't know how to explain it. Maybe like little bushes of a border design. I don't know. But that's my story. And I decided to keep it there because junk journaling is not perfect, in my opinion. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this flip through. Let me just say that the first signature does have 18 front and back pages, so multiply that by 4, and the second signature is 17, multiply that by 4. That's how many pages are in this journal. I'll have all that in the description on the website and on the Whatnot Marketplace. And that the signet or the spine was 1¼ inches because, again, I decided to keep the original spine. So I don't think I mentioned that. I usually do at the beginning, and I didn't want to redo the whole video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this flip through. If you're interested in this, please let me know. And if you have any comments or any suggestions, or want to know anything about how I do certain things, feel free to drop them in the comments. Let me know. Are you a Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs fan? Let me know in the comments if you are. I'll talk to you guys on my next video. Thanks.